Alright everyone, welcome to the first tutorial video for GBO 2 in a very long time. As you know, my name is Grandy Warrior, aka now Giggle Warrior, or Deranged Pyro. So, today's video is going to be for the Barzam. We're going to be going over to level 2, which is at 500 cost. And yeah, I really like this suit. It's one of my favorite suits. So, without further ado, let's kind of pop over to our build. Don't mind the bars up on the top right. I need to reset my internet. But, give me a quick little glance on my stats bar here. I'm putting a little bit into health, I'm putting a lot into ranged, and I'm putting a little bit into melee and thrusters. I very much am greedy in my playstyle nowadays, so I don't really focus on a lot of defense for a lot of my mobile suits. So keep that in mind. If you're If you are a very aggressive and greedy player, I highly recommend trying out my build, but I also will go over some theory crafting for defensive builds of the Barzam that will suffice. So let's go over some strengths of the Barzam. Its beam rifle. It's really good. It's got a 40% heat rate, which means you can shoot it 3 times before overheat. 3 shots that land in quick succession from the beam rifle are a guaranteed stun that breaks maneuver armor. It's stun build up. You can also charge the beam rifle to let out a powerful shot that will stun anything without maneuver armor, or damage control, or a shock dampener. It can use the Mark II beam rifle, which we all know here is a decent powered beam rifle, but it's only got 5 shots, and it's got a pretty decent reload time. Granted, if you take a look here at the Barzam beam rifle, it's got a 17-second overheat, but you can also space out your shots effectively and combo them with other weapons, like your Vulcans. A fun weapon to use. It's not really super effective, but I really like it for its possible prowess in combat due to a lot of testing by me and a lot of varied success. But when I do succeed, it is in a large amount compared to when I fail, which is in a moderate amount of damage. So, essentially, it's the shrapnel bazooka. It basically acts like a shotgun. Each pellet does 100 damage. I would say there's maybe about 12 pellets. It's just like the Ifrit shotgun, it can stun if most of the majority of pellets hit. But unlike the Ifrit shotgun, it takes 2 bursts, sort of like the assault armor shotgun, to stun something on maneuver armor or stun something as a whole. But it does break maneuver armor. Its reload is semi-long with 12.6 seconds, with my 2.4 taken off, thanks to mods. But it does have a 1.3 second cooldown time between shots, which means you can spam it. It does have an effective range though, which means it will not spread out into the shot for a certain distance. So you gotta really learn the effective range. Something too close isn't really going to get the effect of the shotgun, and you're going to do very minimal damage, but something too far is not going to get hit by the max damage either. So you gotta be in a certain effective range to be effective with the weapon. I do not have the Hyper Bazooka, so I cannot use it. Here. So, I don't have the level 2 Barzam rifle, but I would equip it if so. I don't have the level 2 beam saber, but beam saber does 1900 damage. It's pretty nice. It's decent. Now here's the thing where it's really good. It has the Vulcan pod system. Vulcan pod system is very familiar to, the Mark II. 90 ammo, 95 damage. The Barzam has a lot of shooting capabilities, right? So here's the thing. Why not just pump into the Vulcans and cause some damage? As you see, I have 2 builds here. But, yeah. Vulcans, best option here. 13-second reload, 90 shots, 95 damage. You will shred raids. No joke. Those Arjardas out there at 500 cost, they don't stand a chance. Even with full ballistic defense, you shred them, because that means they're not having beam rifle defense, and you're just going to take their legs with the beam rifle and Vulcan them down with the Vulcans. Now, I do have a reload build, which is more for space, and this suit has space topography, but for ground, I really recommend doing this build. It has to do with high-speed cruise control. Yes, it's such a minuscule part, but thing is, sometimes it feels like sometimes the small difference it makes matters in strafing. Strafing in GBO2 can also save you from splash damage due to terrain not really agreeing with splash rockets. Special leg armor level 3, this is the most value per part, per slot cost leg armor piece in the game. For the cost of parts, of slots, you get 80% leg health of your total HP. It means you don't need to pump health to make your leg health even higher anymore. You could just do this, take out the health parts, and throw on defense and damage parts and call it a day. Now, this is where Greed comes in. And since I'm doing that, I don't have health parts, I'm pumping in levels 2 and 4 Enhanced Firing Program to really bring out the power in the Vulcans and Beam Rifle. I threw on Thruster Control System level 1 in this build to give it a little oomph to thrusters, seeing how it's 65 base, and anti-melee armor, seeing how its melee resistance is naturally 12. For my space and or super Greed ground build, we're kind of following the same mantra of Greed, but since we're in space, we don't need the leg health parts. So we're now pumping health in a little bit, putting more into thrusters, and bringing in reload speed. So we can make sure the Vulcans reload slightly faster and keep the DPS up. So in the space or highly greeding out ground build, we are going quick loaders level 2 and 3, and enhanced melee program level 1, enhanced firing programs level 1, 2, and 4, new model frame level 2, and thruster control system level 2 to help out with our low thrusters. The suit really doesn't have a lot of weapons, so shortcuts are very simple, so on and so forth. Now for skills, the Barzam is a very basic suit when it comes to skills. It's got leg chakras over level 3, it's got quick boost level 3, it's got dodge roll level 1, flight control system level 2, high performance balancer, high spec ambac, combo controller level 1, force injector, and high performance radar. Very basic, nothing too extraordinary here. It is just a general blue of new age. Nothing too special here. As I said before, it's got space topography, and on top of that, it's got medium melee priority. The suit did get a level 3 recently, I think. Am I correct? I am incorrect. Don't trust me on that. It's only 2 levels. Level 1 at 450, level 2 at 500. Yeah, this thing is very good at killing raids and fighting other blues, but do not try and fight supports all too often, they will fuck you up. For the sake of the rest of the video, when we take it into the practice range, there's not really much to show for this suit, but we're going to practice range anyways. We'll be using the safe ground build with leg health armor. Alright, so let's head into the practice range. Alright, so here in the practice range, we have turned the AI off for now. We got a standard Grandpa Gundam and a gun cannon. Now note, in the practice range, enemy mobile suits will have base stats with 0 parts on them. So, take all these stats with a grain of salt and my results. But we're going to be using the Barzam beam rifle to showcase damages. So, as with the meta of this game, you should always try and be aiming for the legs. Granted, yes, you can miss a lot more frequently with shooting the legs. But here's the bonus of hitting legs. Guns like beam rifles, and machine guns, and Vulcans included in that, do increase part damage. Bazookas really don't do that. Bazookas are meant for splash and stun. They are not meant for module damage. Now some do, yes, but the thing is those are very rare and far in between. Cannons also do really good part damage, but here's the quirk about the Barzam. You got beam rifle and Vulcans. 2 leg-breaking weapons on 1 suit. And yes, the shrapnel bazooka does do part damage, seeing how it is not a conventional bazooka and it is a shrapnel shot. But then you still have to stay in the effective range to do the part damage in the highest capacity. So keep that in mind. Now, we'd shoot for the legs 1, 2, 3. As you see, that's a stun. We did a good amount of damage to this Grandpa Gundam, and its legs are pretty much, I wouldn't say close to broken, but we did a considerable amount of damage. You can now rely on your Vulcans to hit targets marked by ASL. As you can see when I move my cursor, the blue circle of targeting appears on the Grandpa Gundam, so which means it'll still hit. Now you can also like kind of look and target them yourself onto the legs, but as you can see, it'll hit as long as I try and stay as much on target as possible. That helps when the target's strafing left and right, trying to go behind cover. Your Vulcans are guaranteed to hit. As you also saw in our damage, we did a lot with our Vulcans, which is the very real power of the Barzam, and why my Greed build has a lot of emphasis on reload parts to keep the DPS up on the Vulcans. As you can see, we're also not losing a lot of damage with our Vulcans against the support. And that's actually really good, because if we're doing basically on base damage to support with our Vulcans, and that's with a 30% damage decrease to our max damage from parts, imagine how much we're going to be doing to a raid, which I will not demonstrate in a second. I don't like going on as we're heading over to the raid. Melee is an option for the Barzam, but I would not put it as its primary force of damage. I would try and kite and use defense as a defensive measure. Now, Charge Beam Rifle really doesn't do as much damage, but as you can see, it is a stun. Basically does as much damage as 3 burst shots on the round. You know. Well, maybe a little more. But, you know, we were doing 96 damage to that gun cannon back there. Let's to this, you know, unmodded G3. Let's just, you know, burst it down a little bit. We're doing 163 damage a shot. Now, a lot of people out there in rated and quick play and custom matches, depending on your rank and skill before and all that stuff, are not going to really 100% commit to defense pass. They're going to try and hit the damage, and they're going to try to be the carrier of their team. Now, here's the thing with that. The Barzam punishes low defense builds. While being itself a glass cannon in a lot of respects, the Barzam is very good at punishing people with low ballistic defense due to the Vulcans. It's very... unless it's the GPO2s, or the Mark II, Vulcans really aren't a threat for most suits outside of sort of brisk Gatlings and the like. But the Barzam brings Vulcans back into the fray for its own sake. It combos really well with its primary weapon choices, and does a good amount of damage. The Barzam is also very quick. Its stature isn't too big like a lot of other Zeta suits, and its melee does keep up a little bit to keep itself safe. In space, you know, its playstyle really isn't that much different, except I find myself trying to melee a little bit more in space because enemies do get closer with a lot less punishment in space at times, especially at 500 cost and 450. Stuff like the Rigdom 2 GH exists and the cycles off it. But Barzam does do a good job at killing stuff when it's doing really bad, trying to really stay alive and sustain combat. I guess my main tip in surviving the Barzam is just don't stop moving and don't get caught out without thruster. Just like every other suit, you will get exploded really fast, especially if a support sees you. But yeah, the Barzam really doesn't have much else going for it. It's really strong in its own regard. The Barzam Beam Rifle is its best weapon choice so far. The Vulcans are a very strong sub-weapon on this suit. It is very good at kiting around enemies, and it deals with almost everything except for supports very well. It punishes low defense builds, and most people don't run high defense builds anyways. Like, no one's full sending the defense unless they know what the hell's going to do up with the game. Really? Build defense builds so suits like the Barzam can't punish you for being low defense. But yeah, that's that. I haven't been around a lot to make these videos in a lot of months, I know, but I'm trying to get back into it, and hopefully you guys like the Barzam video. If you have any questions or comments about the Barzam or anything I could possibly fill up in the comment section, just let me know down below in the comments. I have plans to release other videos with more suits. I'm not gonna say which. I'm not gonna basically timeline myself anymore, but yeah. There'll be more videos coming out, some gameplay, some tutorials, so on and so forth. But yeah, this has been the Barzam. This is my favorite 500 cost general for rated, and hopefully you see why. Hope you guys have a nice day, and remember to subscribe for more of these videos in the future. And hit that like button, friends, if you really enjoyed the content. But this has been Giga Warrior, aka Darn H Pyro, aka Grandy Warrior. That's a lot of names, I'm sorry. But yeah, I wish you a nice day.